Scott Adams once said, "When you add in my ordinary business skills, my strong work ethic, my risk tolerance and my reasonably good sense of humor, I'm fairly unique." And in this case, that uniqueness has commercial value. Next to being the creator of the Dilbert Comics and the book How to Fail at Almost Anything and Still Make It, no, that's not the title, he also phrased the term talent stack. The talent stack is an awesome concept to understand how to make the best out of your abilities and in which areas to improve. However, I'll be also giving you my own model. According to Scott Adams, the key to success is to build a stack of complementary skills that work together to create a unique advantage. For example, if you're an artist with a talent for drawing and a passion for programming, you could combine those skills to create an animated webcomic or a mobile game. It was two of you who made me familiar with the concept, because you told me I was basically already talking about it without knowing the name for it. Now I do. And so, just a few days later, Dan Coe created a video on the same topic. What's going on here? In case you watched some of my previous videos, you might know that I'm a pretty big believer in being a specialized generalist. That's the T or pie-shaped model where you have deep expertise in one or two areas and a wide base of complementary skills. This resembles how Scott Adams' talent stack works. He came up with this visualization where almost all of your time is spent on getting really good at one thing. In this case, being an engineer, which is still a wide and not super specialized field. On top of that, you add complementary skills. His rule: spend 1 hour at most to learn these new skills. You can learn the basics of negotiation, marketing, public speaking, writing, and more in an hour each. And yeah, of course, you won't be great in these skills after just 60 minutes of study. But if you think about it, if you put 60 minutes into studying negotiation, for example, instead of 0 minutes, you already can get quite a bit of leverage out of those 60 minutes. This is the well-known Pareto principle, or 20-80 rule. Spend 20% of your time for 80% of the results. Now, I do disagree with Scott Adams a little bit here, because I don't think you really need to fix your time to 1 hour for a new skill. I think it's well worth it to put in 1 hour to maybe 30 hours, depending on the skill that you want to pursue. And 30 hours is still not a lot. That's an hour a day for a month. Very doable. I also think that his concept disregards practice and experience. Studying public speaking for an hour is fine and better than doing nothing, but does that really make you a better public speaker? I think it's more about getting in front of people and speaking, so it's very experience and practice based. But I do think that Scott Adams knows this, it's just out of bounds for this concept. Now, I thought about how I can conceptualize a skill stack myself, differently. I gave you parts of that in one of my earliest videos, and I looked back at it again these past few days. Think about neural networks and their layers for good visualization. We of course start at the root. I just talked about first principles in my last video, so this is very fitting. This is the entry point with the fields that build the foundations for everything else. To me, the obvious ones were math, physics, chemistry, and biology. A huge chunk of what's happening in the world can be explained through these, but they are not enough. I would also add communication, which is the base layer for speaking, literacy, marketing, and much more. By the way, learning how to speak and understand English is one of the most powerful skills you could obtain. It opens up many more resources and opportunities. But you probably already know that, or at least you already know how to speak and understand English, otherwise you wouldn't be here, so congrats on that. The last field of the base layer is humanities: history, philosophy, anthropology, art history, etc. Let me know what you think about this selection. What's missing, or is there something to kick out? From there, going up the layers will lead to increasing specialization. Let's make it tangible with an example. In the second layer, we might find something like computer science and design. Going up, there are web applications, mobile apps, and embedded systems that build upon the previous two. The web is mostly JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. And in the top layer, we might arrive at something very specific, like an AI blog website built with Next.js and Markdown files. It took me until here to realize that this new representation is not new at all. It somehow felt novel to me because I somehow, someway got there myself. Then I realized this is literally every skill tree in any video game ever. So let's stay in the gaming lingo for a second. All of these points can be leveled up. The foundations might have a higher ceiling compared to something very specific, because they are so broad. I think it would be a very fun exercise to take everything you know, all the practical skills you can perform, and of course your fields of knowledge, and put them in your own personal skill tree. Not in a video game, but in real life. It of course would rely heavily on self-assessment, but could still be interesting. A specialist might look something like this, while a generalist has a pattern closer to this. That's not all, however. Another thing I observed was that some skills create the packaging, while others are the package. The necessary coding and design skills to build an Next.js blog website are the packaging, while the content of the page, which is about AI expertise, is the package. In his video, Dan said, stack personal interest for individuality. If you're good at the packaging, you can package anything you want. And at the best case, your personal interests. You are a strong and passionate long-distance runner? Great! Package your point of view and running knowledge into a blog, video content, a software that creates optimal training plans, a new shoe design, or whatever else. The options are endless. Grading in the field of your personal interests gives you a huge advantage. You understand the audience because you are the audience. Quick disclaimer here, I usually have a highly entrepreneurial and maybe creation-based bias in my whole worldview. So if you're looking to get hired by a big company, for example, your personal optimal skill stack might look quite different than my optimal skill stack. Individuality allows for infinite niches and perspectives. I'm definitely not the first person to talk about these concepts at all. But who cares? It doesn't matter. The quote-unquote market is not saturated, as everyone provides different perspectives. I am not competing with anyone, or at least I don't feel that way. As I said in the beginning, Dan Ko just covered the same subject. I watched this video, it's a really good video, but it turns out we talk about completely different things because we have a very different perspective on things. We are individuals. The beauty of this is that we have 7 billion human beings on the planet. The combinatorics of human DNA are incredible. Everyone is completely different. You'll never meet any two people who are even vaguely similar to each other, that can substitute for each other. And so the more authentic you are to who you are and what you love to do, the less competition you're gonna have. You can escape competition through authenticity, when you realize that no one can compete with you on being you. And normally, that would have been useless advice pre-internet. Post-internet, you can turn that into a career. And this actually goes beyond individuals and also personal brands. It's true for corporations as well, as Peter Thiel emphasized in 0 to 1. Tolstoy opens Anna Karenina by observing all happy families are alike. Each unhappy family is unhappy in its own way. Business is the opposite. All happy companies are different. Each one earns a monopoly by solving a unique problem. All failed companies are the same. They failed to escape competition. All of this perfectly applies to becoming a minimalist entrepreneur, which is about making a difference while making a living from what you enjoy doing. In this video, you learn how to do so and why you should give it a chance. Thank you for watching.